Hello and welcome to the last video of the OVKA 2021 season at G&J Cartway in Camden, Ohio. This is race 14, as I think I just mentioned. And this is the pre-final. I qualified 9th out of 19 carts on a 5-minute qualifying session. So we're ready to roll. Now they wave off the start. Two guys up in the front did not catch that exactly, so we have two guys wailing on it out of there. And one of them is Gary Lawson. If you're into karting and 4-stroke LO206 class and you're following any of the national stuff, he's a pretty fast dude. So he made the trip over from Indiana to race at our track on this one, and he qualified in position 2. Our local number 78 guy, he qualified on the pole. And I think the guy in the 914, he's also from Indianapolis too. He's not one of our club racers, but he's in front of me, so he obviously was a little bit faster than me at the qualifying. I think he was about 2 or 3 tenths faster than me. Anyways, we're going to go around and wait for those two guys to rejoin us, and we'll get the race going. I will talk in a little bit about some of the costs and how your season can go in this class. This is a really good class, I think, to start out in. If you're somebody who goes to the indoor tracks and you're smashing everybody there, and you're thinking, oh, how can I get into this and try not to, break the bank? Well, the LO206 Briggs & Stratton engine package is a pretty good way to get going. So the other two have rejoined us. Gary Lawson's up in P2. Our number 44 guy, I think he qualified 3rd, so he's back in line, and we are coming around for the start. Again, you can't see the green flag out there, but we get it, and off we go. I've noticed all season the inside line, and I don't know if I'm not doing good on the starts or not. The inside line will sometimes go good through this part of the corner, but the outside line comes steamrolling down on the outside, because I like the outside when I'm out there. So I get passed by the 84 and the 318, but the 318 loses it right there. Sends me off in the grass. Basically, I just chose to drove around him and go on the grass. I really didn't have any other options if you're looking at it. I didn't want to hit him because that would really screw up my my drive for the day, and this puts me way back into about 15th position. Pop out behind my teammate in the 4. He comes down this way, and I can tell, oh, he's going way too fast. And he does a little 4-wheel action through a big mud puddle, slides back across in front of me. I'm hoping he can keep together, because I know that his grip is going to be down a little bit since he just cooled his tires off and got him muddy. And I also know that he's got a pretty strong engine in that kart, and he's geared a little bit lower than me, so he just pulls out ahead of me on the straightaway. And again, he gets a little wanked out right there, and I'm looking ahead, and I have a super huge gap, but I'm going to go for it underneath him right here. And he sees me and gives me some room, so I'm able to get under him. So now that I'm past him, I'm probably in like 13th place. Maybe 14th, I don't know. But I have a big gap to get to that orange jacketed driver up there in the 007, and you don't see anybody in front of him. And we have probably still about 8-9 laps to go. So I'm going to talk about how to get into this and how some of the season can go, and what you might have to anticipate if you're one of those indoor track type of guys that is wondering how they can take the karting experience further. So this is my 3rd season of racing full-time, pretty much, or a full schedule. And this season went well for me. I basically didn't break anything on my go-kart. I didn't have a hub brake. I didn't bend an axle. I didn't bust any tie rods on the front. I basically didn't replace anything except for tires. Now, tires are usually a little over $200 a set, depending on where you get them. And if you're on our track, it doesn't chew the Hoosiers we use up that bad. I could run the whole season on 2 sets. Now, it may not be quite as competitive as the guy that runs, gets a new set every 2 or 3 races, and does that kind of stuff. I just, I throw the rubber on there and I drive it till the little wear indicators are pretty much worn down, then I switch them. I don't scrape them. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. But as I said, I really didn't have to replace anything. Now, cost just itself For this motor, if you get a brand new one, you can get a race prepped one for generally, I'd say in the $1,000 range, maybe a little bit less if you don't want it race prepped, which would still be okay, you know, if you want to put the exhaust on yourself and that kind of stuff. I think it's more like in the $800 range. And you could probably find a used one, obviously, for less money. And if you find one that's only got like a season or 2 seasons on it, you can just get them refreshed, and they're usually still pretty strong. I am on the 5th season on the motor that I'm running in this video right now. I got it refreshed at the beginning of the season. It's supposedly dynoed well. I haven't had an issue all season with it. Do I know if it's performing as good as the other ones? I think it is, but I don't know. I would not ever suggest someone coming brand new into this to just buy a frame. If someone's selling a frame for cheap, don't do it. You won't know how all of the components go together necessarily. It'll be too much of I would not want to have to try to figure that out. Get a rolling chassis, one that's just ready for a motor to be put on it, and maybe a seat. And then you're good to go. It's like right here, the 21, he picked up that cart pretty cheap. It's old. It might even be about 10 years old. But, with it being his first season racing, he's doing pretty good. He's not way off on the times, and he's right in the middle of the pack on a few of the races and doing pretty decent. 72, he's coming back in. I think I talked to him last race. He used to race, and he's getting back into it, and he got himself a nice Margate chassis there. And, he's having fun and being pretty decent out there. If you saw any of my videos from last season, the 007, he's definitely gotten better since last season. He's picked up probably a full second on some of these laps out there time-wise. But again, you really don't have to spend a whole lot of money, and you can still be relatively competitive. And I will tell you, there's not a lot of prep that goes into my race day. I change the oil, I look over for loose bolts or something that might have rattled out of it, and that is about it. Don't really mess with my carburetor very much. I will do some maintenance on my clutch. The clutches are pretty simple, but it's a good way to get in. And the resources, there's a lot of on Facebook. You've got a few groups out there that are like karting classified, so they'll people selling stuff on there all the time. And also, if you're in the Midwest, which is where we are, where I'm located, every February in Wilmington, Ohio, there is a big kart swap meet. And I'm not kidding, you can get stuff crazy cheap there. I got 2 seats, 2 Tillet seats that I've used for 2 seasons now for $40 grand total. Of course, they had some holes drilled in them, but they weren't cracked and they weren't busted. And I'm going to keep using them. They're still fine. So anyways, the video's rolling down. Spoiler alert, which I've mentioned in other videos. I am not going to pass the 007, and I believe that I finish in 10th position. I started in 9th, got dropped back. I was able to make some positions up, and there was some fallout at the beginning. I think the 78 had a mechanical issue, so he pulled off right off the bat. So I finished 10th. So I basically start in the same row that I started on, just on the other side. And the outside is the fast lane. I will tell you, my camera battery ran out, and this is the last video. I don't have one from the final. And in the final, I think I finished 8th or 7th. I can't remember. But that is it for the season. I will have some other races. They just won't be part of the overall point season for OVKA. Talk to y'all later.